Hello everyone, it is I, Dark Symphony 777 with the very first actual video of 2024. I'm not counting the previous two videos because I recorded those in December. So yeah. So as always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative in the world, so please respect that. So, the story I'm doing today, it is Super Disney Bros. By J.C. Hope. It is a Super Smash Bros. And Kingdom Hearts crossover. And I walked into this story kind of expecting some hot garbage, to be honest. Because when I read the synopsis, it's literally the Subspace Emissary from Super Smash Bros. Brawl just replacing everyone with Kingdom Hearts characters. Like, okay, that sounds like a recipe for disaster, but I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. So, what's the story about? It's Subspace Emissary. More or less. Oh, this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be a hard one to actually talk about because this story doesn't really have much of a concrete plot, which is by design because it's trying to emulate a game mode from like a 2008 game. I think Brawl was like either 07, 08. I can't remember which specific year. And Subspace Emissary doesn't really have much of a plot. So you're trying to adapt the plot of something that doesn't have a plot. You see where the trouble of having to struggle to figure out what to say about the story is gonna come from? And I can't blame the author for this because hey, you're trying to say, hey, I'm gonna adapt this for another game. Have fun. It's almost kind of cathartic seeing like not really a one-for-one remake of Subspace Emissary because there is a lot of crossover. That's actually one thing you can kind of count on with this story. If you're familiar enough with Subspace Emissary, you can kind of figure out what scene you're actually reading to kind of do the emulation. Like at the beginning, like except for this chapter is like completely unique. But if you go here, you go here, the second chapter, we actually get the opening cutscene of Subspace Emissary. The author does have to take some creative liberties regarding some of the specifics in the game. For one thing, I think like Smash Bros. Has like 30-something characters. Hold on, let me actually check. I actually can't remember how many characters were in Brawl. Okay, I just checked. There's 39 playable characters in Smash Bros. Brawl, but only 36 actually appear in the story of Subspace Emissary. Jigglypuff, Toon Link, and Wolf, they kind of appear as like post-game content that have like no bearing on the story. Even then, like Sonic kind of doesn't appear. If we actually go to the end, I think only like if we go by one-for-one of the roster, only like I think like around half show up. Like that would be I think that'd be like 18 characters. 13, 18. Yeah, no, sorry. I think like nearly 20 characters. So off the top of my head, we have Mickey as Mario, Goofy as Luigi, Donald as Kirby, Jasmine as Zelda, Aladdin as Link, Minnie as Peach, Mulan actually as Pit. Like that's actually creative decision. Once you get past them, you're actually struggling to remember who's who. Oh yeah, the meme one, Simba as Yoshi. Yeah, that is a choice. That is a choice. And that would make sense. Mike Wazowski and Sully as the Kongs, Diddy and Donkey. You have Oogie Boogie as King Dedede. You have Maleficent as Ganondorf. That's 10. Jafar as Bowser. Pete as Wario. Who is Hook's? Hook's supposed to be Meta Knight. Technically, Hook is Meta Knight. That's like the closest you have to him. Jack Sparrow is Snake. Jack Skellington's Ness. So we're at 15. Hero and Baymax are Pokemon trainer, although for creative reasons you only get like one. Hero only has like one Pokemon. Baymax kind of like qualifier for like Charizard sort of deal. Merida as Lucas. Stitch as Fox. Jim Hawkins, the Jim guy from Treasure Planet as Falco. And then once you get past those, I actually struggle. Who's Pit as not Pit. Peter Pan as Marth. Beast as Ike. Eve as Rob. I think that's it. No, wait. There's. I'm trying to think. Kira from Atlantis as Pikachu. I know Moana, Ariel. I think like one of the. I'm trying to remember who's with Samus. Like who is with Samus when? No, what? No, I think Ariel's Samus. Who's Moana? I'm trying to remember who Moana is. I think like Moana's the only one I can't remember who, because then all you really have left is Sora as Sonic. Yeah, I think that's it. No, and Cusco as the Ice Climbers, and which is a weird one, and then even weirder is Elsa as Lucario. So that's out of everyone, you have about 31 characters? Either 31 or 21. No, 26. So that's like 10 characters missing. Chief of them being like Game & Watch and like some of the other. Like I know there's like no like comparison with like Captain Falcon and Olimar and stuff like that. So you have like I think either 26 or 31 characters. Still not every single character in the game, but that's like the majority of them. But yeah, you can easily figure out everything that's going on. The story actually doesn't start with the fight between Mickey and Donald. It actually starts with Merida running along, like wandering around a graveyard, and she comes across Jack Skellington. They meet, and then Merida kind of finds out what happened with the Heartless Door. She kind of finds out what Heartless are from Jack, and Jack and Merida decide to go on the adventure. The reason this is because they have to kind of change. They have to change. The author has to change the whole Ness and Lucas side plot because of the fact that the Pokemon trainer doesn't really exist, and due to the fact the whole 3 Pokemon thing. You only have Baymax, so you kind of have to like completely retrofit and change that plot line. So it makes sense why the only really big change to the story is specifically that specific side plot. They kind of changed a lot. That one's completely different, but more or less, you can kind of figure out what's going on everywhere else. Like the whole, like I said, the opening part is basically just a remake of the Kirby and Mario fight. Then Hook ships drops down, drops a bunch of Heartless. They fight. Darkseid shows up, acting as the PD Piranha. Then they spend like most of the time chasing after Hook's ship because they have like no way of getting there. Then they're just trying to. Mickey gets separated from everyone. Mulan, of course, under guidance of the Ghost, i.e. Palutena, goes after her, and Mushu go after find King Mickey. They just lots of shenanigans. There's plenty of boss fights. Each boss kind of representing a different boss. You know, there's so much there's so much creativity that's done in this story of trying to adapt something with like not a lot of substance into a written form, because it's not a novelization. It's just like we're just trying to adapt what works and trying to add what's new stuff on top of that. That is fine. And I think for the most part, it works, especially if you're familiar with not only Subspace Emissary, and you can easily, and like I said, Subspace Emissary doesn't really have a lot in the way of content in terms of stories. So the JC Hope is doing the best that they can, but also contains a lot of winks and nods to the various franchises that are used in this game, in the story, like Mushu being like Team Honor, various winks, like I said, there's various winks and nods. It's just there's so many. Like Elsa kind of talking about why Kuzco's kind of trying to remember why Kuzco's not being bothered by the cold. It's like, and then the author kind of writes down, oh, Elsa's never bothered by the cold anyway. Reference to Let It Go. Kuzco referencing the events of Emperor's New Groove. Like the whole thing with like Kuzco falling down the mountain. He's like, all right, we're gonna get some sharp rocks at the bottom, probably death. Bring it on. Yeah. Like I said, there's lots of just a bunch of winks and nods throughout the entire story to each character and franchise. I don't know every single one of them, especially like the Treasure Planet one. That's actually one movie I never actually got a chance to see. But I know there's probably like a couple nods to that movie somewhere in the story involving his scenes. So I think ultimately, when it comes down to the plot, there's not a lot of substance, but there is a method to the madness behind this, because again, the author's just trying to make something work. The author is not trying to be bad at this job at writing the story. It's just the author's trying to make the most of what's essentially a literal nothing of a story, and just trying to build something out of it. And I have to give the author credit for that. Characters, there's no character development at all, except for maybe Elsa. Maybe Elsa and maybe Merida. Again, this is another case of this is by design, because come on, Subspace Emissary doesn't really have any character except for like Lucas, which makes sense because Merida is Lucas in this case. So at least the author's consistent in that. It's fine. Like, there's just not really anything. Again, I'm not gonna blame the author for this, because the author is just trying to make something out of nothing. So I don't really have any hate on the character development. The characters are more fun, and regardless, like, they're just trying to stay true to who themselves. Yeah, they have some minor regressions, but that's more or less trying to fit them as much as they as well as they can into the story and the context they're being used in. Like, Elsa's whole character is the fact that, you know, she the Heartless attacked Ariandel because they're after Anna's heart, so they ran away to the mountain that they find themselves in. Anna basically begs Elsa, freeze me solid, so that way they don't come after you and try and leave Ariandel alone. And Elsa kind of like feels completely broken, the fact that unlike, you know, the other times where she accidentally did it, this time she has to willingly do it because she doesn't want to hurt others, and she basically freezes Anna solid so she can try and protect her, and builds like a blizzard and castle, and she's actually deemed such a big threat that Maleficent's like, we gotta take care of this chick, get her, and orders like an entire army to just march upon Elsa to take her out. And Elsa having like no confidence in herself because she's just so afraid of having like, if she doesn't know how to control her emotions, she's like she like leaves frost and ice everywhere and everything kind of chips off, and she's so afraid of like either hurting someone or like being forced to do what she did to Anna that she's kind of like tiptoeing around everyone. But then Peter Pan shows up, kind of, she's like, well, if you help me with Hook, you could unfreeze Anna. And she kind of like, it kind of helps Anna along the way. But honestly, the only really good character is Merida. That's mainly because Merida's along with Mickey, is kind of the story is basically Merida and King Mickey as the two main characters. Merida's whole thing is the fact that, you know, she's kind of like broken because Dunbroach has actually fallen to the Heartless, so that actually so her world is actually completely gone. Most of the other characters are like the Heartless either hasn't shown up yet, or they have shown up and they kind of ran away to this specific area to kind of get them away from the world, like with Elsa and Anna. But with Merida, her Dunbroach is gone. And so she's wandering around the graveyard, runs to the Jack Skellington. Halloween Town is gone too. It's fallen as well. And Merida is like somewhat of a broken woman. Like, she doesn't know what to do, and all she knows is like trying to survive, to find some hope and dream to save her world. And then Jack Skellington gives her that idea, that path to go on. We gotta find the door, close it, our worlds might be saved. And you can see her cling on to that hope as she's traveling with Jack. And then Jack gets turned to stone, and she completely breaks down. And then she finds Hero and Baymax, and, you know, she finds that purpose again to stand up and save Jack and finish the job that her and Jack started. And she kind of acts like a girl boss. It makes a lot of sense that she's a girl boss in this because, you know, it's Merida. Come on, people like Merida. I like Merida. But even like in the climax where, and let me talk about that in a bit. Merida's growth over the story from like a somewhat broken woman to like realizing that fact that, you know, she can actually believe in herself again and saving, that she can actually save her people and restore her kingdom. It's very basic. It's very basic, but it's at least well done enough that I don't really complain about it. There is also like, the only thing I'm kind of iffy on is with Merida is the off-way scene. So basically, Taboo in the story is Chernobog. He's basically the final boss. When Chernobog and Maleficent do like the whole turn everyone to stone thing, everyone gets turned to stone except for Merida. And this is like the one part I'm kind of I'm very iffy because, yes, it is foreshadowed because it shows her medallion very early on that she's able to resist a lot of magic, but it's still kind of BS. Granted, I get why the author did it this way because you had to try and, I don't think the author really wanted to write The Great Maze, because honestly, that would have been bullshit, and also would have been a lot of unnecessary padding. A lot of people don't like The Great Maze because it's like it's way too cumbersome and clumsy. Like I can see why the author did it like this specifically, just so that way the author does not have to write that. I get that. I still find it a little BS that Merida was the one who did it. I think it would have made more sense for Mickey to do it. Granted, but then it also leaves like a little that leads down like the rabbit hole of like the whole Sora being Sonic probably wouldn't have as much oomph. Granted, I kind of knew Sonic. The moment I saw Jack Sparrow as Snake, I kind of realized Sora's gonna be Sonic, isn't he? Like, that makes too much sense. And then Sora doesn't even show up. He kind of just speaks to Mickey in his mind and gives him the Keyblade. He's like, "There you go, MICKEY MOUSE," and it's I don't know. I don't hate that part. I just think it's more a situation where I don't know. I don't know whether or not it really should have been Merida. That's like the hard part, because it's like the author goes out of their way to kind of foreshadow this scene with, like I said, with the medallion. Like, she's constantly bringing out like it resists magic, so it does make sense for Merida to resist it. I just don't know. I just don't know if it all, at the same time, it also doesn't make sense, because something as powerful as Chernabog and Maleficent combining magic probably could have overrode it. Like, I don't. It's like that's like the weak. That's honestly the bad thing. Like, because I don't know if it's good or bad. Like that also kind of makes you think. Like, I honestly want to hear your opinion on this. Do you think like, when you read this story, do you think it makes sense for Merida to have survived, or do you think she should have been turned to stone into someone else like Mickey or Jack? Honestly, Jack Skellington would have worked as well. Like the whole, Merida went out of her way to save Jack, to try and save Jack, or to only for like Jack to return the favor at the end. Or maybe you could have been Eva. Like, Eva was still kind of working with Maleficent, and she realizes that maybe not. But granted, Eva kind of turned like at the end anyway, so it's a confusing mess. I don't have anything. I'm gonna leave that alone. So that's it with the plot, and that's it with the characters. Grammar. This is actually hilarious. So I have to actually go all the way to the end, because I have never seen someone have perfect grammar until the very end. Because this is actually really, really hilarious. I gotta actually find it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. I'm pretty sure Donald doesn't say Garsh. Like, I'm pretty sure the author meant to say Goofy and just accidentally typed Donald. Even the author, like, before this, said Goofy reached over and gave King Mickey and Donald a large hug. They were overjoyed, but King Mickey squirmed for release. Gosh, sorry, like I'm pretty sure Donald. That is not a Donald word. It's hilarious. I don't really have a complaint for that. But for the formatting and pacing, it's paced perfectly. But I do have an issue with right here. There are a couple of walls of text. It's only like there's only 3. There's this one. There is the one for this one. Then there is the one for this one. Yeah. Yeah, so there's one for the fight against Darkseid. There's a one for introducing Hook, and then the last one is Stitch and Mike versus Randall, and Randall's basically Rayquaza. It's actually kind of weirdly hilarious. Yeah, weirdly hilarious. Like I don't really have any complaint for it. It's just, well, you kind of had to throw someone as Rayquaza. Like he's like, so like why not just use Randall? Like Jafar just gives like, all right, I'll give you what you want. Turn into whatever that one Pokemon from Generation 3 is. Rayquaza? Yeah, Rayquaza, you're gonna become Rayquaza. Ta-da! Can I become Mega Rayquaza? No, I don't want them to complain that you're too broken. Aww. Become regular Rayquaza! And what will you become? I will become something much worse than Mega Rayquaza. What? Unaware Quagsire. I don't know where my mind goes sometimes with Jafar deciding to turn himself into a Quagsire. I am now picturing Jafar just turning into like a red Quagsire, and he has like the Quagsire has like a little turban, and he's like super serious, like, and he's like getting ready to like do something evil, and he goes like, Quag! And Iago turns to Shadot, and Shadot just says ragey shit. I'm sorry, that was too good. Okay. So yeah. Would I recommend Quag Jeff Sire? Alright. I'm done. Would I recommend Super Disney Bros? I would. It's very, very basic in terms of a lot of key things, but unlike a lot of other stories where I say, he's because it's either like new or the guy doesn't know what he's doing. This is by design because, again, the author is trying to work with what they have as adapting a very, very limiting story from Brawl. Like, if you played Subspace Emissary, there's not a lot of work with. So I have to applaud JC Hope for doing the best they could. But yeah. What would be my favorite part? That is a hard one. I'm almost tempted just to blanket say Merida, because outside of the possibility of like the bullshit saving herself from the off waves, I really liked Merida, but I would. You know what? Let's just have a little fun. Let's just say Kuzco. He doesn't show up a lot, but it's Kuzco. Come on, it's Kuzco. Like, he just like, I just came up this mountain to get people to build my home here. I don't want to be here. And like, well, everyone's got to train. All right, well, you train. I'm gonna do a yoga session for everyone. Like, who wants to do yoga? I will. Who will you, Bony Skeleton Man? I'm Jack Skellington. All right, let's do downward dog. What? Is that supposed to be no downward dog? Like, you kind of sit like a dog. You put your face near the ground. You put your ass out. You put your ass like as high as it can. So it's actually helpful for the back. Like, that actually works. I feel more limber. Anna, come help this. Merida, you try too. No, thanks. I'm hitting targets. Yeah. All right. Oh, please, I don't want to do that. Damn, that dog, it looks like some kind of weird sexual position. So, no, let's just cop out Merida. Just Merida as a whole. I like her character. She's very sassy. She's very tomboyish and stuff like that. It's just, if anyone like Lucas is like, I think the only character that actually has a character arc in Subspace Emissary. So it makes just works so well. What would I fix? There's two things I would fix. First off, fix the walls of text, the 3 walls of text that happen. Second off, change Donald to Goofy at the end, or not, because that's just a random grammar error that I just can't. I guess like you can keep it. As for like anything I would add to this story in terms of a sequel, probably you can like do a lot of goofy things with this. Maybe do like World of Light. Granted, you'd probably have to dip into like other franchises because there's like so many third parties and stuff like that. Maybe you do like a sequel where like it's starring Merida and Jack, like they go to each other's world, like Jack Skellington and Dunbroach, and everyone freaking out. I was like, that's a 7-toed tall skeleton. Yeah, so you saved my daughter. Yeah, put her there. Or like people go like, or Merida and Jack going to San Francisco, like you can do a lot of little shenanigans of like Hero introducing Merida and Jack to the crew and like probably like flabbergasted by Jack's tallness. Or like you could do like a Robin Hood joke. It's like, oh, can I get the superhero name? What do you want to go? I will call myself Robin Hood. You want to tell her, Robin? It's like, no, go. We don't want to be sued. Isn't? Wait, isn't Robin Hood like public property? Like, isn't he free to use? It's like, I'm pretty sure. Is he? I don't know. Baymax, too! Look up if Robin Hood is like public domain. Correct. Okay. Found something for Steamboat Willie. Steamboat? Who the hell is Willie? I don't know. I don't know. Or like Stitch and Jim Hawkins teaming up. You can have like maybe have Peter Pan leave Neverland and try and hook up with. Also, you can do Kuzco just wandering everywhere to find places to put up his home and just getting rebuffed by the people who live there. It's like, can I put a home here? No! Can I put a home here? What are you doing in Ariadel? I want to put a home here. Can I put a home here? How would you get into Atlantis? I don't know. I just want to put a home here. That'd be my favorite idea. Just Kuzco going everywhere and wanting to put up homes and just getting into shenanigans. I want that. Give me that. I shut up and take my money. I will. I don't have money, but take it. But yeah, I think this is a decent enough story. It's kind of a shame that I just noticed it has 47 reviews. The story should get more, in my opinion. But yeah, that is Super Disney Bros. By J.C. Hope. I hope you enjoy this 2024. And this has been Dark Symphony 777. And cut.